Welcome to Growth Mindset Success, where your journey to personal excellence begins. Here, we unlock powerful ideas and timeless wisdom from the world's most influential books on success, mindset, and motivation. In a fast-paced world, you need guidance that inspires and equips you to act, improve, and rise. That's what we deliver. No fluff, just value. Whether you're an entrepreneur, dreamer, or seeker of clarity and purpose, you're in the right place. So sit back, relax, and get ready to grow. If you find value, don't forget to subscribe for weekly book summaries that unlock your full potential. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the continuation of our deep dive into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. In this second part, we'll explore the final 8 chapters, which elevate the foundation we built earlier into advanced strategies of persistence, decision-making, harnessing energy, and conquering fear. These are the final pieces of the puzzle that will carry us through the full 22 minutes of insight. Chapter 8. Decision. The Mastery of Procrastination. Hill discovered that successful people make decisions quickly and firmly. Indecision is the enemy of progress. Procrastination, the twin of indecision, is one of the biggest killers of dreams. Once a decision is made, persistence ensures follow-through. Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and other giants succeeded because they trusted their judgment and acted boldly, even against criticism. Hill emphasizes that the world has always admired people of decisive character. Those who hesitate often find themselves pushed around by stronger personalities who are willing to choose a path and commit to it. He notes that most people who fail do so because they spend too much time listening to the opinions of others, allowing outside voices to drown out their inner conviction. Successful leaders learn to gather facts, analyze them, and then make a choice with confidence. They understand that no decision can ever be made with absolute certainty, but bold action is always better than endless hesitation. Hill reminds us that opportunities are fleeting. If you wait too long, they vanish, and indecision becomes the thief of destiny. He also points out that those who procrastinate rarely admit it. They disguise it with excuses, convincing themselves they are waiting for the right time or gathering more information. In reality, what they lack is courage. Hill calls for courage in decision-making, even if the choice later requires adjustment. It is far easier to correct a wrong decision than to succeed by never making one at all. History provides countless examples. The American Revolution was driven by leaders who made firm, daring decisions to fight for independence, even when the odds were against them. Henry Ford faced ridicule when he refused to abandon his idea of producing a car for the masses, yet his decision reshaped the entire automobile industry. Andrew Carnegie decided early on to focus on steel and never wavered from that vision, building one of the greatest fortunes of his era. Hill also makes it clear that decision-making is a habit. Those who train themselves to decide quickly gain confidence with each choice, while those who continually delay lose faith in themselves. Every small decision builds momentum, and eventually, decisiveness becomes part of one's character. He warns that fear is often at the root of indecision: fear of failure, fear of criticism, or fear of making the wrong move. But success requires moving forward despite fear. Hill insists that no one ever achieved greatness by waiting until they were completely certain or completely ready. Action creates clarity, and clarity strengthens future decisions. Ultimately, Hill teaches that decision is the spark that ignites action. Without decision, desire and imagination remain dormant. The ability to make firm choices, stand by them, and adjust when necessary is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Chapter 9. Persistence, sustained effort. Persistence is the willpower that keeps desire burning through setbacks. Many people stop at the first sign of defeat, but persistent individuals push forward. Hill gives examples of salesmen who closed deals only after prospects initially said no. Persistence transforms temporary defeat into opportunity. Without persistence, desire and faith fade away. Hill explains that persistence is a state of mind that can be cultivated. It is not a gift given to a select few, but a discipline anyone can develop through practice. By forcing yourself to continue when others would quit, you train your mind to overcome discouragement and doubt. Each time you push past resistance, persistence grows stronger. He makes it clear that persistence is closely linked with willpower and habit. Those who make persistence part of their daily routine rarely stop to consider failure as permanent. Instead, they see it as feedback, a signal that they need to adjust their plan or sharpen their effort. Quitting is never an option for them. It is simply not in their vocabulary. Hill uses the example of Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each setback taught him something new and brought him closer to success. Edison's persistence turned what looked like endless defeat into one of the greatest achievements in history. Without that persistence, the world might have remained in darkness much longer. He also points to Abraham Lincoln, whose political career was filled with failure after failure. He lost elections, faced bankruptcy, and endured personal tragedy, yet he refused to give up. His persistence eventually led him to the presidency and to becoming one of the most respected leaders in American history. Hill notes that persistence often separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. The difference between someone who dreams of success and someone who achieves it is usually persistence in the face of difficulty. A single setback does not define destiny. What defines it is the refusal to accept defeat as final. He also warns that persistence is not about blind stubbornness. It is about having the flexibility to adjust plans without abandoning the ultimate goal. When one approach fails, the persistent person tries another and another until the path to success is found. Persistence combined with creativity becomes an unstoppable force. To cultivate persistence, Hill suggests several practical steps. Having a definite purpose backed by burning desire, creating a detailed plan and sticking to it, keeping your mind closed against negative influences, and forming alliances with others who encourage persistence instead of doubt. These habits protect your determination when challenges appear. He further explains that persistence feeds on itself. Each victory, no matter how small, builds confidence and strengthens resolve. Over time, persistence becomes second nature, and obstacles that once seemed impossible appear as temporary challenges. The lesson is simple but powerful. Success is never delivered instantly. It comes to those who keep moving, keep trying, and keep believing when others walk away. Persistence is the invisible thread that connects all other principles of success, ensuring that desire, faith, and planning endure until the final goal is achieved. Chapter 10. Power of the Mastermind. A mastermind is not just a group, it's a third mind, a collective intelligence that emerges when two or more minds harmonize. Hill emphasizes that no one has achieved great wealth alone. Carnegie had his mastermind circle, so did Edison, Ford, and Rockefeller. By collaborating with like-minded people, individuals multiply their resources and creativity. Hill explains that when minds come together in harmony, they generate energy and insights far greater than what any individual could achieve alone. This is not just teamwork. It is a spiritual and intellectual fusion, where ideas spark, grow, and evolve in ways that surprise even the participants. He stresses that the key word is harmony. A mastermind group filled with conflict or ego will collapse, but one built on trust, mutual respect, and shared vision creates an unstoppable force. Each member contributes their strengths while benefiting from the perspectives of others. Hill also points out that a mastermind provides accountability. On your own, it is easy to procrastinate or give up. But when you surround yourself with determined people, you feel a responsibility to stay committed. The group pushes you to higher standards and refuses to let you quit too soon. He compares the mastermind principle to a battery. One battery provides power, but several connected together create a current strong enough to run machines, light cities, or drive progress. Similarly, a group of unified minds can move mountains that no individual could move alone. Modern examples prove this truth. Corporations, startups, and creative teams succeed because of collaborative energy. From the Wright brothers to modern tech giants, innovation has always been the product of minds working in harmony. Ultimately, Hill teaches that the mastermind principle is not optional. It is essential. Success seekers must actively build alliances, cultivate relationships, and place themselves in circles where ideas and encouragement flow freely. Alone, progress is slow. Together, it accelerates beyond imagination. Chapter 11. The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. Hill describes sexual energy as one of the strongest drives in humans. Instead of dissipating it through physical indulgence, he urges us to redirect this energy into creative and productive channels. History shows that many great leaders, artists, and inventors channeled this powerful force into achievement. When redirected, it fuels imagination, ambition, and persistence. Hill explains that sexual energy is not limited to physical expression. It is a life force that, when controlled, sharpens the mind and heightens emotions. He calls this process transmutation, meaning the conversion of one form of energy into another. Just as steam can power engines when harnessed, sexual energy can power ambition when directed toward creative outlets. He notes that some of the world's most influential figures were known for their intense passion, which they redirected into their work. Poets, musicians, entrepreneurs, and statesmen often possessed heightened energy, drive, and magnetism that came from mastering this principle. Their charisma and influence were amplified because they channeled desire into vision rather than waste. Hill emphasizes that sexual energy also enhances imagination. A mind stimulated by this force is more alert, more receptive to ideas, and more capable of bold thinking. It can inspire flashes of creativity that ordinary thinking would never produce. Many masterpieces in art, literature, and science owe their existence to individuals who sublimated their strongest desires into their work. He also connects this principle to leadership and influence. People who transmute sexual energy often radiate a magnetic personality. They exude confidence, enthusiasm, and vitality that naturally attract others. This magnetic presence helps them gain followers, build alliances, and inspire loyalty. Importantly, Hill warns against misunderstanding this principle. He does not suggest suppression or denial of sexual energy, but rather disciplined redirection. Suppression leads to frustration, but transmutation transforms the force into power. Like electricity, it is neither good nor bad. Its value depends on how it is used. Hill further explains that many men achieve their greatest success after middle age, when their sexual energy is naturally calmer and redirected more easily into ambition and creation. This is why individuals often reach their peak influence and productivity in their 40s and 50s. Ultimately, Hill presents sexual energy as one of the hidden keys to genius. By consciously channeling this primal force into constructive work, people can multiply their effectiveness, sharpen their creativity, and achieve far more than they believed possible. It is, as he describes, a secret reservoir of power waiting to be tapped. Chapter 12. The Subconscious Mind. The Connecting Link. The subconscious mind never sleeps. It continuously translates dominant thoughts into reality. By feeding it positive emotions and goals, one influences behavior and attracts the resources needed for success. Negative thoughts, if allowed to dominate, result in failure. The subconscious is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant, positive or negative, will grow. Hill explains that the subconscious works silently, guiding decisions and shaping habits long before we realize it. It is like an unseen partner that responds faithfully to whatever instructions we give it. If we command it with fear, it will bring us reasons to be afraid. If we feed it with confidence and clarity, it will open doors of opportunity. He reminds us that the subconscious is influenced most strongly by repeated thoughts backed with emotion. A single wish will not impress it, but a burning desire, reinforced daily, becomes embedded as belief. Over time, this belief steers our actions almost automatically, aligning our behavior with our goals. Hill also stresses that the subconscious mind is always listening, even when we are not paying attention. Casual complaints, negative self-talk, or fearful images can plant seeds just as powerfully as affirmations. This is why discipline of thought is so essential, because every word and emotion leaves an imprint. He further explains that the subconscious is closely connected to intuition and creativity. Many people experience sudden flashes of insight or solutions to problems when their conscious mind is relaxed. These moments, Hill says, are the subconscious delivering answers it has been working on in silence. Ultimately, the subconscious mind is both servant and master. It does not judge or reason. It simply acts on the instructions it receives. Our responsibility is to direct it wisely, to plant only the thoughts we want to see grow, and to water them daily with faith and persistence. Chapter 13. The Brain, a broadcasting and receiving station. Hill compares the brain to a radio, constantly transmitting and receiving thought frequencies. He suggests that concentrated thought, combined with emotion, has the power to influence others and attract ideas from the other. While modern science might frame this differently, the essence is the same. Our brains resonate with the energy we project. Hill explains that the brain vibrates at frequencies determined by our dominant thoughts. Positive, high-energy emotions like enthusiasm, faith, and love send out strong signals, while fear, anger, and doubt create interference that blocks creativity and opportunity. He believed that thoughts are like magnets, drawing to us people and circumstances that match our inner state. He also stresses that the brain is highly receptive to suggestions and influences from others. This is why environment and association matters so much. Surrounding ourselves with optimistic, success-minded people ensures that our own brain receives empowering signals. Negative company, on the other hand, floods the mind with destructive frequencies. Hill likens the brain to a finely tuned instrument. Just as a radio must be adjusted to pick up the right station, we must discipline our thoughts to tune into the ideas and inspirations that align with our goals. This tuning process happens through concentration, visualization, and repeated affirmations. Finally, Hill points out that some of history's greatest breakthroughs were the result of individuals catching ideas out of the ether. He believed genius often comes not only from one's own thinking, but also from tapping into a universal field of intelligence. Those who train their minds to be receptive are able to catch these flashes of insight and transform them into reality. Chapter 14. The Sixth Sense, the Door to Wisdom. The sixth sense, according to Hill, is an intuitive faculty that guides decision-making. It cannot be developed directly, but emerges after mastering the other principles. When desire, faith, imagination, persistence, and planning are practiced consistently, intuition sharpens. This allows people to sense opportunities and avoid dangers that others miss. Hill explains that the sixth sense is often described as a hunch or a gut feeling, but it is far more than instinct. It is the subconscious mind drawing on infinite intelligence to provide guidance at crucial moments. Many successful leaders admit that their greatest decisions were not purely logical but inspired by an inner knowing they could not explain. He emphasizes that this faculty becomes reliable only after the mind is disciplined. A mind clouded by fear, doubt, or negativity cannot hear the quiet voice of intuition. but one trained through faith, focus, and persistence becomes naturally receptive to flashes of insight. Hill believed this sense was the final stage of success development, a reward for consistent practice of all the other principles. Chapter 15. Outwitting the 6 Ghosts of Fear. Hill concludes by identifying fear as the greatest enemy of success. The 6 basic fears are poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. These fears paralyze action and destroy faith. By recognizing and challenging these fears, one frees the mind to think boldly. Hill offers practical self-analysis questions to help readers identify limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering ones. He explains that fear is often imaginary, created by the mind rather than by reality. Most of the things people worry about never actually happen, yet the habit of fearing them weakens initiative. Hill urges readers to confront fear directly, replacing it with courage and faith through constant practice. He reminds us that fear cannot live in the same mind as confidence. One must always give way to the other. The choice, he insists, belongs to us. Napoleon Hill closes Think and Grow Rich with a timeless reminder. Success is never a matter of luck, but of choice. Every principle in this book, desire, faith, persistence, imagination, planning, the mastermind, and the control of thought, points to one truth. Riches begin in the mind. Wealth is created twice, first in thought, and then in reality. Fear, doubt, and hesitation are the only barriers standing in the way. As Hill insists, the human mind is the greatest asset we possess. When properly directed, it becomes a magnet for opportunity, achievement, and abundance. The individuals who succeed are not always the most talented, but they are the ones who refuse to quit, who master their thoughts, and who dare to dream boldly. So as you walk away from this summary, remember, Think and Grow Rich is not just a book, it's a blueprint. Apply its principles with persistence, discipline, and faith, and you'll discover that the power to change your future has been within you all along. The choice is yours. Live by fear or act with faith. Success awaits those who choose the latter.